This is the Louie Tee Network.
See, first come the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then my team was 6-10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Yeah, I seen the Super Bowl, but I heard they just play balls. A lot of teams had injuries. Sam Bradford had to take off. Go hard in the offseason, but you don't know the half. Before you know, we gon' look up, and we ready for the draft. They dressed up in that suit top, and I don't know how to act. They waiting, so patient, so they can put on that hat. Who else could it be? But your man Luke. Okay, so when she asks you where you was at, you tell her you in the lab room. Who else could it be? Who? But your man Luke. Okay, so when she asks where you was at, you can tell her you was in the lab room. Yeah.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie Jean. Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. Week number 14. International Football League picks. And straight at you, but first, as always, house cleaning. I'm going to grab the broom and the mop. You grab the dustpan and shine it up when we're done. Let's get rid of this house cleaning real quick. Week 13. Relatively easy week, man. And so, I was really happy to see that all of you weren't trying to be special. You weren't trying to go outside the box and pick all these crazy picks and try to reinvent the wheel. It was an easy week. Go get you a double-digit win total. Why not? The wins were there to be taken and had, and all of you went and got them for the most part. With the exception of one participant here in the lab room, everybody had double-digit wins. Wins for everybody, man. Get you some. So let's go over these Week 13 picks quickly. Flash Goodwin. Flash Goodwin had been hot. That dude he jumped on the scene about 3 weeks ago or so, piping hot. He cooled off last week. And this is what I'm talking about. Trying to go out and get you some W's. Maybe not really there now. In his defense, he picked the Lions Thursday night. Lions should have won that football game, okay? Lions had that game for about 59 minutes, blew it at the end, so he would have had double digits had he not lost that contest, but 9-7 for Flash Gordon. Not the worst, okay? But this was an easy week. There was no reason for you not to get double-digit victories. He didn't do it, so I know it's a disappointing week. He's looking to bounce back in Week 14. We'll see what Flash Goodwin is able to do. Sean Hawk. Sean Hawk, 10-6. He's been hot too since he jumped on the circuit. I think he's been up here for about a month strong now. And of the month, I'd like to say that with the exception of that nasty week, what was it, 11 for everybody, week 10? One of those weeks where the one that I told you I didn't even like my own picks, that was his only week of not being in double digits. For all the rest of the weeks that he's been a Louie Tee Network participant stepping up to the challenge here in the lab room, dude's been double digits. He's been outstanding. 10-6, sole survivor pick of Panthers. They got it done for him. It was close, but they did what they've done all season long, and that's win. And so 10-6 for Sean Hawk, man. Another really quality week of picking games for Sean Hawk. Eduardo O'Neal, man, this dude's been coming on of late as well. 10-6 campaign for him in Week 13, so he was able to get to double digits. And so he could have easily been 11-5. He picked the Lions. They're his favorite team. And he sent me a message after that game, and I know he had to be distraught at the way that one ended. And he said, look, man, I'd rather be 0-1 going down with my boys than 0-1 picking against them. And I know the feeling. I know the struggle, and it's real. I've done that many a times where I'm like, look, man, I really hate to go 0-1 not picking the Redskins. They win and I lose the game because I picked against them, and then I'd never be able to forgive myself. So I've been there, done it a million times. It never makes that loss any less easier to digest. And so He started 0-1, but he bounced back, got to 10-6 on the week. Eduardo O'Neal, double digits once again. JT WWE, nice bounce back week for him. He struggled last week, was able to bounce back this week, 10-6, got back to double digit winning ways. And so it's good to see him get back on the winning track, and let's see if he can continue to do that next week in week 14. This is going to be a lot tougher of a week for much of you. We'll see how you guys are able to navigate through the slate of games. But JT WWE, 10-6, back to double-digit wins for my man JT WWE. Protect, he was the star last week, if you remember. Everybody else was 11-5, 10-6, 9-7, and Protect was 12-4 last week. He led all participants here in the lab room who stepped up to the challenge with 12-4. I mean, he was hot last week. But 11-5, that's not much of a cool off. I mean, he's really hot right now, making some really quality picks. And I told you about his blog. Check it out. He gives you a little bit of analysis as to why he thinks those teams are going to win particular games. Also has a couple of columns and things for you to read there. So check him out. I'll leave the link to his page down below in the show notes, as I always do. And so check out his work. But again, 11-5 Protect coming on strong. And I remember I was badmouthing this man just 2 weeks ago when he went about 8-6, 7-6. He stepped it up last 2 weeks, back-to-back gems, a 12-4 performance, and now an 11-5 performance in week 13 for Protect. Michael Caine, the Sarge, 11-5. He jumped back in with another strong performance, and he's been really consistent this season. I don't think he's ever dipped below 500, and he's one of those guys that's going to get you anywhere from 9 to 11 victories every week. He's pretty consistent in what he does, and Sarge continues that consistency with another good week, 11-5. Money Miz, he had to step his game up. He had a nice little sabbatical. He was doing his school thing, and he had kind of dropped off the face of the landscape for a little while. He said, I'm back and I'm ready to wreak havoc. And the league said, nah, not so fast, my friend. You don't just jump back in here and pick up where you left off as if nothing ever happened. Because if you remember, he won the third annual In the Lab Room Soul Survivor Pool. So he was probably smelling himself. And so he went, kind of rested off of that, came back, and the league blazed him with a 7-9. And he was like, man, that's pretty brutal, man. That's harsh. You didn't have to do me like that. Well, he bounced back this week, 11-5, much better week for Money Miz, and he's looking for big things moving forward. So 11-5, heck of a week for Money Miz as he starts to settle back in to making picks. Carmen Rana, let's get to the people who stole the show in week number 13. Carmen Rana, 12-4, Soul Survivor pick of Cincinnati, which was a no-brainer. That's an excellent week, 12-4. I'm actually jealous because I felt like I should have been 12-4. I felt like I should have been 13-3. A couple of games didn't go the way that I anticipated. Mainly, the Falcons game, thought that they could beat the Buccaneers. I was wrong, and I thought the Bears could beat the 49ers. Those were the two games that I kind of felt sick to my stomach about at the end of the week. Of course, Redskins, Cowboys goes without saying, but yes, that's 3 wins right there that I really thought I was going to get that I didn't get. And so that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. These guys came out on the right end of some of those games that I wasn't able to. And so you get 12-4 for Carmen Rana, who has been really good since jumping on the circuit. And you continue to see the growth there, 12-4, one of the best records of week number 13, sharing that honor and distinction with Insane Juggernaut, who jumped back in last week. Disappointing effort, and I want to say last 2 weeks haven't been his best work, but this week he turned it up a notch and went to 12-4 as well, sharing the distinction of best record in the lab room with Carmen Rana. 12-4, Cincinnati, also his Soul Survivor pick. So they were doing human-like work, both of them turning in 12-4 efforts. Insane Juggernaut has been banging on the door of double digits here for the last 2 weeks, and he finally was able to get over that hump, turn it up, and now he's the best in the lab room in week 13. And so kudos to Carmen Rana and Insane Juggernaut for being the best in the lab room in week number 13. Myself, 11-5, not upset about 11-5. I could have been a lot better. I just told you about 3 games that could have went either way. Buccaneers, Falcons came down to the last possession. So did Bears and 49ers, that actually went to overtime. And of course the Redskins game on Monday night, which everybody just about here lost that game. So it's not like if I would have won the Redskins game, I would have gotten a win over all of you. Probably all of you would have had an extra win to your total as well. So 11-5, I'll take it. That gives me an overall mark of 126-66 on the season. So 60 games over 500, not bad, not great, but I'll take it any way I can get it. And so let's move on to the week 14 selections. Looking forward to all of your week 14 picks. I got off to a 1-0 start, took the Cardinals for the victory. They got it done. It wasn't pretty. It was actually closer than I would have liked it to be, but it was a great ball game. You know, I'm a football fan first, so I just wanted to see good football. I got that on Thursday night. But at the end of the day, Cardinals did what they were supposed to do. They protected the house, got the W, so I'm 1-0 on the week, and I feel good about that. You know how I feel when I get that W on Thursday. It really propels me into some big things come Sunday. So let's jump into week 14 picks right away. So we go Buffalo at Philadelphia. I don't think the Eagles are going to all of a sudden have a resurgence because of that win versus New England. In fact, I think the Bills can come in there with a mad, upset Shady McCoy and get it done. This isn't Chip versus Shady. It's Buffalo versus Philadelphia, and I think the Buffalo Bills are the better football team right now. Give me the Bills to win that game on the road. San Francisco at Cleveland. Johnny Manziel starting in this game. I don't really like the Cleveland Browns in this spot. I think the 49ers are playing probably their most confident football of the season. And then they go on the road last week and win in Chicago. Didn't think they were going to do that. And so now I think they feel really good about what they're doing. And Blaine Gabbert is playing outstanding football. Rushed the football last week, threw for a touchdown, including that game winner in overtime. I think the 49ers have some confidence, and I think they're going to show that confidence on the road versus Cleveland. Give me the 49ers in that ball game. Detroit at St. Louis. Feel like the Lions are playing some good football despite the loss that was really gut-wrenching last week. Still think they're playing good football. The Rams are a mess. The running game went to hell in a handbasket. They don't have a passing game which to speak of. I really don't know what the Rams are doing from week to week. Their defense is still solid, but it's not as good as it was earlier in the season. Give me the Lions to go on the road and beat the St. Louis Rams. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Every time I jump on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bandwagon, they let me down. I'm pretty sure some of you can attest to the same thing with other teams around the league. Had one guy tell me, look, every time I pick the Redskins, they lose. I want to say it was Eduardo O'Neal. They lose. I said, well, do me a favor, Eduardo. Stop picking the Redskins so we can get some W's, my man. Well, I feel the same way about the Buccaneers. Every time I say, nope, Tampa's not winning this week, they go out and win. And when I say, you know what, Tampa's playing great football, they lose. So I'm going to do it again. Hopefully they prove me wrong and actually get it right this time. I'm taking Tampa Bay at home versus the Saints to win and go to 7-6. They're playing some good football. Let's see if they can't continue that by winning at home versus the Saints team they already beat this season. Tennessee at the Jets. Tennessee at the Jets. Dude, give me the Jets. This was a pretty straightforward one. Love what the Tennessee Titans did last week, but that was against Jacksonville. Don't see you scoring over 40 and Marcus Mariota running for over 100 and throwing the football all over the field, throwing for 3-4 touchdowns. That's not happening against this Jets defense. They may get Revis back. Love the Jets in this spot. Give me the Jets to win this football game, and I'm making it my sole survivor of week number 14. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. My heart says Pittsburgh, but I've went down this road before, and I'm starting to buy what the Cincinnati Bengals are selling. They're doing all of the things that I need to see them do on a weekly basis for me to be convinced that this could be different. I'm not sold completely yet, but they're winning me over week after week after week. And I really feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers, despite the explosiveness that they possess on the offensive side of football, they scare me defensively. I don't like what they're doing there. Even though they did a really good job against the Indianapolis Colts, still think on the road against an explosive offense, they can give it up much like they did against Seattle. I think this is a spot where Cincinnati has a chance to really show their power and their dominance in this division by winning this game and sealing up that divisional crown. Give me Cincinnati to do exactly that at home in the jungle versus the Steelers. New England at Houston. Texas has been playing much better football of late. Billy Ho is really taking that quarterback position by the horns. However, that Texans team still not as good as the Patriots. Despite all the injuries, think the Patriots are going to get their act together. I don't expect all the special teams blunders that they had a week ago. I expect Gronk to possibly play in this game and give them a little something. I expect the Patriots to bounce back from 2 consecutive losses. Who knows when the last time they did that? Expect them to bounce back and not allow this thing to get out of control and get to 3 losses. Give me the Patriots on the road to beat the Texans. Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is really simple. If you're going to win this division, if you're Indianapolis, there's an opportunity to start piling up some wins. You're perfect in the division right now at 3-0. Time for you to continue on that streak and go, when's the last time this team lost in the division anyhow? And let's take it a step further. When's the last time they lost in the division on the road? They don't. Go to Jacksonville, win the game, and go ahead and try to run away with this division. Give me Indy at Jacksonville to win that game. San Diego Chargers, San Diego Superchargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs. You know where I'm going with this one. I've been riding the Chiefs bandwagon and wave for the last month and a half, maybe even 2 strong months. I'm not going to stop now, especially when they're playing probably the worst team in the league in the San Diego Chargers. Really hurts me to say that because they got Phillip Rivers, who's having another outstanding season at quarterback, but they stink. Give me Kansas City to win that game and win it big. Washington at Chicago. You know where you got to go if you're looking for a prediction there. My Redskins, week 14, bow and go. I'm going to move on. Atlanta at Carolina. This is a game where I feel like the Panthers are at home. They're riding their 12-game winning streak to start the season. They're the only undefeated team. Now you're going to start getting the questions. Can this team go undefeated? We shall see. I don't see Atlanta going there and winning. Maybe Atlanta can get them when they come to the Georgia Dome in week 17, but I don't see them getting them in week 14 at home. That's for sure. Give me the Panthers to continue their winning streak. Go to 13-0 on the season with the win at BOA over the Atlanta Falcons. Oakland at Denver. I think the Raiders have played their best football of the season already. They're starting to hit that downward trend. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos are on the upward trend and they're playing good football, and Brock Osweiler is getting comfortable. We'll see how that quarterback situation sorts itself out, because now Peyton Manning is getting ready to start ramping up his practicing habits, and soon enough he's going to be ready and cleared to play football, and then they've got a decision to make. But until then, Brock Osweiler is the guy. I expect him to continue to play good, solid football, try to be mistake-free, allow this defense to do what they've done all season, and that's dominate, and I expect them to do much of the same in this game. Give me Denver at home to beat the Oakland Raiders. Dallas at Green Bay. This is a tricky one because the Cowboys defensively have played really good football all season long. Green Bay has struggled on the offensive side of things, but they're at home. Dallas doesn't score enough points offensively. The Packers should be able to win this game, and I feel like they should be able to win this game convincingly, but we haven't seen them dominate since like week 11 or 10 versus Minnesota. Give me the Packers to win this game, and I'm pretty confident that they will get it done. Seattle at Baltimore, no-brainer. Baltimore is too banged up to compete with a Seattle Seahawks team that's starting to hit their stride at the right time. 2 consecutive games of over 30 points, 39 and 38 respectively in their last 2 contests. Give me Seattle to win this one, and maybe not even allow this one to be close. New York Giants at the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. This is the only game that I regret, because I picked this one with my heart. Instead of picking with my head and making a rational decision, I want the Redskins to win the division. I'm being biased, and so I say I gotta pick mine because I don't want to root for the Giants at all in this game. I don't want to have it come down on Monday night, needing a W, and being in a football pool and having a chance to win the money and having to root for the Giants. So to just alleviate all of that, I picked the Dolphins. Probably a stupid move, but last week I thought that I made a mistake picking the Jets, and they came through for me. Maybe I can get the same thing done in week number 14 with the Dolphins. It was so nice. I'm gonna try it twice. Give me Miami to be the second AFC East team in as many weeks to slay the New York Giants. Those are my picks. I feel damn good about them, but then again, when don't I feel good about my picks? If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything. And now, National Football League. Check out episode 3 of the Playbook with Frigola up on the channel as we speak. The best episode we've had yet. I had a lot of fun recording it, and you'll have a lot of fun watching it. Check it out. I'll see you on Monday. There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie Tee, be sure to follow me on Twitter at InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page at In The Lab Room. That's In The Lab Room on Facebook and at In The Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.